Hey guys, Muggz here, and I'm back with my Mario Kart 8 DX track ranking / tier list videos. So if you haven't seen the first two parts, the C tier and the D tier tracks, go check those out. In the D tier, I lay out my methodology, and in both videos, I go over the details on why those tracks you see on the screen are where they are, with Sherbet Land being the worst and Wario Stadium being the best of the tracks I've ranked so far. So check those out, but let's just jump right in. So for the B tier, I actually have 14. That's right, 14 tracks are in the B tier. So what I'm going to do is actually split the video up into two parts. We'll do the bottom half of the B tier in this video. You'll see my bottom 7 in the B tier, and then in the next video you'll see the top 7 in the B tier. But these are all B tier tracks, which means they're really, really solid. So let's just jump right in. Alright, we've got Royal Raceway from the N64. So this is a track that they didn't change too much. The jump at the end, or near the end, sort of became a glider section, which I think was an improvement. And you can no longer drive up to Mario's castle, like from Super Mario 64, which is a bit of a bummer. But I understand why they did it. It's totally understandable. It's a bummer, but I get it. Let's talk about the track itself. You start off, you get an item, and then you've got some tight turns where you can build up a lot of turbo. And then you've got a Nisk you can pull off actually in the middle of the track by drifting and jumping at the right time, as you see here. That gives you a nice boost, and you don't get the double, but it could be something that's useful in a race. Then you come up on the long jump with the glider section like I mentioned, and then at the end, if you have a boost item or a star, you can take that turn really tight and shave off a ton of time if you're willing to pass up the item set and make a push for first place, maybe in a third lap scenario. So the track itself races pretty fun. It's an exciting track to race on. It is. Okay, it's another Mario theme. It's Mario Kart. It makes sense. They do get a little overdone, so it didn't score huge there. But it's still a really fun track and earns a place in the B tier. Next up, we've got Rainbow Road. The new Rainbow Road, actually. So why is this one the lowest of the 3 Rainbow Roads? Well, it's simple. It's forgettable. It's not the most exciting Rainbow Road. Let's talk about the pros first, and then we'll get into some of the cons, aside from it being forgettable. It's difficult. It's tricky. It's a test of skill. I appreciate that. You start off, you've got some really tight turns that on 200cc are extremely difficult. You've got a glider section onto a space station. You've got a cannon glider, which I think is unnecessary. Like I get it in Cloud Top Cruise, for example, because you're coming out of a cannon. Literally out of a cannon. But here it doesn't feel totally necessary, but fine. And then you've got a little bit of driving with a Nisk you can take at the end to sort of jump from the above track to the below track. Save some time that way. And then you've got the final turn. So it's a solid track with tricky driving. But as far as Rainbow Roads go, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing to me. The silver just doesn't do it for me. The sort of high-tech space station look. It's not what I love. Think of Mario Kart 7's Rainbow Road, where you're driving on the rings of planets and on asteroids, and it's just this crazy time. And it doesn't lap around, it's just one continuous shot. That's where I thought Rainbow Road was going, and I feel like it took a step back here. Even like the space station with the conveyors, you don't need to take them. The best play is to either cut through the off-road with a boost item, or drive on the little sliver of road between the conveyor and the off-road. So it's just not up to Rainbow Road standards. It's still a solid track. It's a test of skill, but that's where it is in the B tier. Alright, next up we've got Animal Crossing. And, if you know me, you might think I don't like Animal Crossing as a track, but I actually do. It's a good, solid B tier track. First off, the theme, they nailed it. I'm not a big fan of Animal Crossing, the game, but if you're going to do an Animal Crossing track, this is how you do it, Nintendo. Thumbs up. You nailed it. You've got the 4 seasons, which is great. It makes racing on the track, exciting every time. It adds to the replayability. In the winter, you've got snowmen. In the spring, you've sort of got these ramps everywhere. In the fall, you've got piles of leaves. The summer is just a bit more open. The seasons are great. And then they have all the little Animal Crossing tidbits in there. You've got the characters from the game, you've got the village, you've got the beach section, you've got bells instead of coins, you've got the music. They nailed it. So it's a fun track. And then the beginning section with the trees, I feel like is genuinely difficult to navigate. The glider section with the balloons is fantastic. It's just an all-around solid track. So there it is in the B tier. All right, Mario Circuit from the Game Boy Advance. Why? Why is this so high, you may be wondering? It's another generic Mario Circuit, like the SNES style Mario Circuits. Some might consider it relatively boring or bland or, been there, done that. But I disagree. Sure, theme-wise, it didn't score well. I do appreciate the anti-gravity section with the, arms raising it. I know that's a throwback Nintendo reference, so that's fun. But the track itself, it feels like a go-kart track, like a real go-kart track. It's a great layout. And on top of that, I always feel like the race is exciting. You can bag it or you can run it. There's a little nisc at the end over the tires. And no matter if you're coming in first, barely, or if you're bagging and making a push late, or if you're getting screwed over, it always feels like the race could go any way at any moment. It's an exciting layout, a lot of tight, quick turns, and it just flies by. It's a joy to race on every time. I never have a bad race on it, and that's why it's in the B tier. Alright, up next, we've got Sweet Sweet Canyon. So this is one that scored really well in the theme, and that's what boosted it up so high. Sure, it's been there, done that in the sense that fictional works and video games have explored the sort of Candy Kingdom, Candyland, Sweet Village theme before, but they nailed it with this one. I mean, if you're going to do the Sweet theme, the candy, dessert, theme-based track, this is how you do it. You've got cakes, you've got soda, you've got sweets and treats everywhere. It's perfect. The road is candy. I love it. And the track itself is a fun layout. Again, you have a cannon glider that I feel like just doesn't belong. But after that, everything's great. Once you clear that cannon glider, you've got a great turn. You've got a split track where I actually take both tracks depending on the context of the race. You've got the donut shortcut at the end. You've got some piranhas to harass you. The item box placement is perfect. And then the whole thing starts over. It's just a joy to race on every time. It's pleasant. And I enjoy the music too. So Sweet Canyon, way to earn a B place on my ranking. Alright, Wild Woods is next. And Wild Woods is interesting because it's a track that, while very solid, I almost never actively pursue. But when I do race on it, I enjoy the race. It's a fast-paced track. It's exciting. You start off, you've got a split track. The first lap, you can pick up some coins on the left, and then after that, it's shorter to go right. You've got a long turn with the item set, a glider section where I love sniping people on, and then you're flying down the water. You're riding in the water, going super fast, and then you get popped out onto these leaves with boost panels on them, and then you've got a shortcut you can take if you've got a boost item, and then the track starts over. So it's a fast-paced, fun race. The theme is solid. It's nothing too adventurous or exotic. But I feel like you're strunken down on a tree or something in the woods. It's cool. The spectators are cute. It's a fun race, and it's a solid B tier track. Nothing really to complain about, but just nothing that really takes it above and beyond like some of these other tracks. So that's where it is. It's actually, if you're wondering, the 23rd ranked track. So it's the 23rd best track in the game. Pretty good, Wild Woods. Pretty good. And finally, for the last track in this video, the 7th of the 14 tracks in my B tier, we've got Twisted Mansion. And one of the downfalls of Twisted Mansion is that I always wish I was playing on Luigi's Mansion from the DS or brought back as a retro track on the 3DS. This Mansion track just isn't as good, in my opinion, as Luigi's Mansion. But it's still a solid track. You start off, you've got the sort of twisted hallway where you can go left or right. And then you've got a shortcut through the library, which is fun, if you can take it. And then the underwater section is lackluster to me. That's what feels like kind of out of place. I don't really get it. Sure, it's anti-gravity, which is fun, but it just doesn't... It's like, why is it flooded? I don't know. It's not my favorite part of the map. But then the glider section, I do really enjoy. I love trying to snipe people and make them take the bottom path. And then, at the end, you can cut through the off-road, the cemetery, if you have a boost item and you drive carefully. And if you can't, you've got those ghost statue hammer guys to worry about. So it makes it a fun finish. It's really just that middle 8 there, that water section, that I find lackluster. But other than that, it's a solid track. I always love a spooky theme track, all the way back to the Ghost Valleys. on the SNES. The music is good, and it's a solid B tier track, and a great way to end this video with our 22nd best track in the game. So that's it. I'll be back shortly with the rest of the B tier tracks. You can see my bottom 27 here, and we'll pick up next time with Muggz' track ranking tier listing extravaganza deluxe for Mario Kart 8. Bye-bye.